Today, we're going to talk about a topic that's going to surprise some people. That's right, I'm talking about porn. Now, not just your everyday average porn. We are talking about a term used in the disability community by those of us with disabilities that has porn in it. It is called disability inspiration porn. Now, this is not your typical pornography, as you probably have guessed by now. This is a term when anybody with a disability sees something that's extra sugary sweet and makes everybody in the able-bodied community go, "Ah, isn't that so sweet? Look at the disabled people. Look how happy they are. Isn't that great?" And it gives the able-bodied or anybody who does not have a disability this warm sense of joy on the inside, is to say, "Oh, isn't it so nice that the world is so much better?" Now, I know I'm probably going to get some calls on this and some, I don't know, maybe some flamed up Facebook messages about what's wrong with being happy for, people in general. Look, there is a history that most people don't know about regarding disabled people. Okay, and if you know your history, starting all the way back from the 1800s till today, when we first start reading about disability in the very early times, up until now, disability is usually associated with charity. In fact, in the 1920s and 30s, that's how a lot of the charitable organizations got started. It was believed at that time from a lot of religious organizations that giving to the poor and the disabled would enhance your presence into heaven or nirvana, or whatever faith was yours. So it was seen as a pity donation to grant you a higher status in the afterlife. Now, you could say, well, that's not now, but there are plenty of commercials and things on TV. Even if, for instance, when my wife and I would go to out to eat or to different places, and even anywhere that there's social gatherings of more than one disabled person, you will see people kind of fawn and be excited that there are, couples or other disabled people in the area. And sometimes it's one thing to be like, oh, that's cool. It's another thing to be overly emotional or extra happy about it, as if, uh, I don't know, it's hard to explain. You really have to be there to kind of feel it. I felt this on multiple occasions, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one. So it's any time that a commercial is shown or something like, uh, for instance, like Special Olympics, and everybody is there together and they're all winning medals, and everybody's like, "Oh, isn't it great?" Or they have a prom together. Now, there is a situation where this is okay, and that's like, look, if we're part of an event and we're happy about it as disabled people, and we want to come to the community and say, this is great because it involves our community, and it's, getting the word out there about disability and disability issues and how you can advocate. That's another thing, but there's something very different about the way in which we present it from our end versus the way that society presents us on their end. So be very aware that there's a way to be overly caring and emotional about this. And for some disabled people, not everybody, because we're not a monolith, right? This is a soft spot for us, because anytime somebody's like, again, I'll use my wife as an example. When this was the case and we were married, they were like, "Oh, it's so great, so wonderful that you found each other, and now everything is great." As if to say, like, again, it's really tricky, but it's almost like they're making extra happiness because you're disabled and you found each other. Yeah, again, this isn't something talked about. Maybe for some of you who are able-bodied, this is the first time you've heard of disability inspiration porn. But there's been a couple magazine articles lately where they'll show a person with a disability and an able-bodied person, and they've gotten married, or they're together and they have kids, and then they're extra complimentary to the able-bodied husband or wife and say, "Oh, isn't this person a saint? for getting married to this disabled person, and what sacrifice and commitments they're making. And there's just not a question, not a thing you would have with bodies of the same ability or people with the same ability. So I just wanted to let you know that that's a thing. And if you hear somebody in the disability community like roll their eyes and go, "Oh, gross, disability porn," that's what they mean. It's anything that excites the able-bodied or other people without disabilities for something that's extra happy, and it really shouldn't be. It should be commonplace. So that's my little piece for this week, and I hope you tune in next time.